Hi, it's Wolf from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, and this is my latest tutorial. It is part 2 of the how to make a medieval grade helm, right here. All right, we finish off this helmet. My first tutorial on armor came out pretty good. I like it. Rivet it together, finish it off, drill it, add the brass frontispiece here. Fun project. So that's what we'll do in this video. The link to part 1 is around here somewhere. I'll pop it right in so you can see it if you want to watch both videos in sequence. Glad to get it done. I will be doing more armor, so stay tuned if you like the blacksmithing stuff. Lots more armor coming. I wanted to point out one other thing real quick, and that's a web visitor, a YouTube watcher called Thailand sent me some pictures of these little tiny swords that he got at a Renaissance fair, like this. See that little sword there? Kind of cute. I got a whole bunch of them I made up. Right, that's cute. And those are made from something called duplex nails. Just a standard carpenter's nail. So I said, wow, that's a really good idea. So a shout out to Thailand for letting me know about this idea. And I forged up a bunch of them. I got some ideas with this. And if you like my blacksmithing stuff, that's coming up in a tutorial. I will show you that real quick, a short video on forging those in the forge and the anvil. So thanks for watching my videos. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button. Always lots of fun and creative stuff coming up. Over 500 videos so far. We launch into the tutorial on how to finish off the medieval grade helm. This is part 2 of 2. Thanks for watching. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and trebuchets, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, rattle rockets, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. Okay, this thing came out of the forge, so it has a lot of scale on it, and it's pretty messy. So the first thing we wanted to do was, we'll clean it off with a wire brush. And I'm going to go on and do a little bit more cleaning with this with emery paper. But I didn't go all the way to like a full polish, and there's no need to do that. But you could, at any point in this whole process, you could really polish this thing up. I kind of left it a little bit rustic. It looks like it's hand forged, kind of nice. So we need to assemble this helmet together, and we're going to do it in 2 stages. We're going to do it first with bolts, and then we're going to replace those bolts with rivets. And in order to assemble the top piece, the very top piece, to the eyepiece, we need tabs, and I'll show you that. So I bent those tabs in a vise, and then I actually touched that up a little bit with a grinder, and then I drilled holes in each tab. And I still don't remember how many tabs there were. I think there were 8. See, like that? Looks really good. Not too shabby. See, the rivet will go right in there like that. So now let's connect the top piece to the eyepiece. And in order to do that, we transfer those holes to the other piece. Now mark them up. Use a center punch on them so the drill will not float. And then drill those holes out. Very nice. My rivets are 3/16 of an inch wide, so I went with the hole just a little bit bigger. I think a 1/4 inch hole. See? So for now, so we can get this helmet into its right shape, I'm just bolting it together with nuts and bolts. And we can assemble the helmet and get it looking right, do a little bit of bending so it fits well. See, it's starting to come together. Now, I've only assembled the top part. So then we do the same thing for the skirt. That's the kind of like the chin and face piece. We transfer our holes, we drill our holes, we transfer them between each piece, and then we use nuts and bolts to put it together. Starting to look like a helmet. I like it. I'm going to do more armor. If you think you want to know more armor, stick with my channel. If you're a subscriber, thanks. If you're not, hit that button. More stuff coming. So it's assembled, and it looks pretty good. Now we have to take this temporary setup, and it needs more cleaning up. I can see that, but that's all right. Take this temporary setup, and we're going to make a permanent setup by riveting it. See? The bolts, each bolt will come out and be replaced by a rivet, and that's a mild steel rivet. What happens is you flatten out the back side of that rivet. It's called peening, like this. Well, I'm not actually going to do it this way, but you heat up that rivet, and then you flatten out the back side, and that peens it over and forms a bond that holds it tight. I actually am using the horn of the anvil for this to flatten out the back sides of the rivets. A better way to do this would be to use some kind of a tool to peen it over really well, but that's okay. We're, making up our first helmet here, and, we're having fun. So you take each screw out, and watch this. I love the color of this hole. This rivet. Nice. Then the horn is underneath, and I would hammer on that, and it will, peen over that rivet on the inside, forming the bond. And these rivets are long, so a lot of them I ended up cutting them in a hot cutting tool like this. So yeah, that's called a hot cutting tool. And I do have a video, I believe, that shows that, and I have tutorials on what that is and how to cut hot steel and stuff like that. Kind of fun. See, so continue riveting. Take one screw out at a time. Replace it with a rivet. Peen that rivet over so it holds nice and tight. And I started with a small hammer. On each rivet, I started with a small hammer to get it set just right, and I have a lot of control. And then I switched to the bigger hammer like this one to really peen it over really well. So I'm not going to show you a whole lot of that. I think there's maybe one more here. Another hot rivet. Okay. So that's the process. It takes a while. You got to take your time with it. Probably took me a couple of hours to do this. I forget. I was busy. So, and I'm pretty happy with this first helmet. I learned a lot doing it, and that's part of the secret is, you got to just go for it and do it and keep going. So let's keep replacing screws and replacing it with rivets. Okay. Oh, I think this is one more. So here's the process. Remove the temporary bolt. Cut your rivet. Hot cutting in the hardy hole. That's a hardy tool. It's called a hardy tool. And then put that rivet in and peen it over. You could actually go the other way from the inside, work from the inside, but it's a little bit tricky with the helmet. So now we're going to add the nice frontispiece to this thing. It's out of brass. So I made up some designs. I cut them out of like manila paper till I got the design and size and shape that I wanted for this helmet. And it's going to be made out of brass. So I transferred that pattern to the brass. Hey, and if you like blacksmithing, I got a lot of stuff. I think there's 30 or more videos. And then cut out that shape. And I used a shear here, but also you can use aircraft tin snips for this, depending on how thick yours. I think this is .032 thick, which is a little thick. You could go thinner. As far as the blacksmithing goes, I have a lot. I have how to make a sword from start to finish. I got how to make daggers, how to make knives, a karambit fighting knife, a push knife, all kinds of stuff. Looks really good. And I take suggestions. I'll be doing more armor because people have been asking for that. So we bend it in a vise, and see how I have a towel on it to kind of protect the brass. Although the brass does have a plastic coating on it that can be removed once you're done. But I use a mallet to hammer it, get it to a shape that's close to the helmet. As close as you can get it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So it molds around the helmet, and it's much easier to screw down. See, so I did this, I bent it, I tried it on the helmet like this, and then bent it some more, until I got it till where I was happy with it. Now we got to secure that thing down. And you can use small rivets to do this, but I'm going to use a different technique. I am going to use tiny 440 screws. And that's kind of an interesting process. I'll show you that. We mark where we're going to screw this piece down to the helmet. Drill it out. Then transfer that pattern to the helmet, right? We're going to actually put threaded holes in that helmet, and then we'll be able to put a tiny screw to hold this down. A little bit different than riveting. So now, for a 440 screw, you need an exact size drill. I believe it's a 43. You can look that up, it's real easy. And you drill it to an exact diameter, so then when you tap this out like this forms threads in it. That's called drilling and tapping. Now that hole has threads, just like a nut or something. It's wonderful. It's a nice little process, easy to do. 440 tap, and then we can actually screw it down. See? And those screws are very short, so they don't stick out on the inside of the helmet, which is what we want. We don't want anything rubbing on our head or our face in there. So continue that process and do the whole thing. See, I got various screws holding that brass piece on. Now we want to drill some air holes. And I took my time with this. I wanted them to be nice and uniform so they look good. You know, we don't want them to be sloppy. So, you know, I carefully measured out a grid on each side and how I wanted it. And actually drew a couple on paper first to say, oh, I like this pattern. And I like that pattern, see? Both left and right. Then we center punch those holes so the drill doesn't float. See it? I'm going to center punch that. That causes a little divot in the steel so the drill stays right there. It doesn't float around and make a hole that's in the wrong spot. Always center punch when you're drilling steel anyway. Looks good, center punch and ready to go. Let's drill it out, and that's it. This helmet's just about done. Had a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. People asking for armor. More armor is coming. I promise you. I'll get some more done. You know, I'm having fun with this stuff. Let's take a look at the finished helmet. Yay, it's pretty good. Right here. Pretty good. I like it. It fits on my head. Thanks for subscribing. Lots more stuff on my YouTube channel here, Epic Fantasy, and on my website at stormthecastle.com. All kinds of fun stuff. Here's a few more videos for you to look at. Just click on them. All right.